All right, Congresswoman, I did read your statement. I know you just said we weren't quite expecting this, but it is what it is. First of all, just your impressions, your reaction to President Biden stepping out of the race.
Well, first of all, I'm extraordinarily grateful to President Biden, not only for the most consequential presidential administration of my lifetime and everything he did over the past almost 4 years, but for his decades of service to this country, where he's always put people first. And I thank him for that. I know this was a difficult decision, and I look forward to continuing to work with him through the end of his term. And I'm ready to elect Kamala Harris.
You are the first African American woman in Congress from Virginia, and so obviously there's a connection there with Kamala Harris. Do you feel like that the party will instantly rally around her?
I certainly hope so. She's the best. She's the most qualified person. She's ready to be president on day one. She will energize our base, and she was a very strong partner with President Biden, and I think she's the best candidate to carry on that legacy and make it her own.
And you're on their advisory board, is that correct?
Yes.
So, as an advisory board member, what exactly is your role there?
So I am a surrogate for both events and for the press. One of the leading voices out campaigning for the ticket, and I'm ready to continue in that role for Kamala Harris.
What do you think will be her biggest advantage?
That she's the most qualified person to do the job, and that she's ready to step in as president on day one and build on a legacy that will continue to help the American people, and as opposed to her opponent, who has made clear he'll be a dictator on day one, who will put in place policies that will harm the American people, as we've seen through Project 2025, who has one of the most extreme people in the Senate as his running mate, and who has been given carte blanche by the Supreme Court to do whatever he wants, even if it breaks the law. And I think when people look at the clear contrast between these two candidates, I believe that we will be calling Kamala Harris Madam President very soon.
Do you think Virginia will be close?
Virginia is always a battleground. A lot of people don't want to believe it, but when Democrats focus on the issues that matter to Virginians, when Democrats talk about what we've done when in office, and we make the clear contrast between our vision and the vision of the Republican Party, we win. When we don't clearly do that, we lose. And so the campaign has opened 11 offices already, that they are about to open more. We have been knocking on doors. We have been meeting voters where they are. And I think Virginia will vote for Kamala Harris. We just got to make sure it is a full court press, that everybody needs to be out talking to voters and meeting them where they are about what's at stake.
She needs a VP. Any ideas on who you think that could be? I know all people are already talking about Roy Cooper. Have you had any thoughts so soon?
Well, the Democratic Party is blessed with a deep bench of excellent candidates, all of whom would be good. I will defer to her on who would be her best partner and who she thinks would help build the strongest ticket and be a strong partner in her administration. And I'll be pleased with whomever she picks.
What are next steps? I mean, she did say something to the effect that she wanted to earn the nomination. Where exactly do things go from here?
Well, that'll be up to the DNC. My understanding is that the rules that will be adopted for the convention have contingencies for this. And so, I'm not an expert on that, so I'm not going to speculate, but I'm sure we will hear about that process very soon.
So, it's been a pretty big campaign season. I've already, before this even happened, saw what some of the attacks coming from the other side, and there's a lot that's being said about DEI. What are your thoughts on that approach when trying to combat her candidacy?
Well, it's the same old Republican playbook that we saw in 2021, that they always try to sow division, and because they know on the merits of their ideas they can't win. Look, Kamala Harris is a highly qualified former prosecutor, former attorney general of the state of California, former senator, and vice president of the United States. She is ready to be president on day one, and she is definitely more qualified than Donald Trump was when he ran for president, and is much more qualified than his vice presidential nominee. So, but you leave it to, Black women hear all the time that we're not qualified. We are. And it's offensive for them to try to belittle her, basically because of the color of her skin and because she is a woman. And we won't tolerate that. It's time for us to move forward and elect people based on the issues and the ideas they put forward.